I've always been fascinated with grappling in general. I think probably most like, anybody else similar to my age, it was kind of, what really brought it to like the national attention was like the UFC, seeing Royce Gracie go out there and just dominate with the style of grappling, which I had no idea even existed at that time. So from there forward, it was something that I'd always, been kind of fascinated with. And I never really pulled the trigger on it though until I think it was about 2015 or 16, somewhere around there. Finally decided to sign up and start training. And then from there, it's been kind of an addictive, hobby / outlet / whatever you want to call it for, each and every individual. But it's been a great thing for me to just be able to come through, learn something practical, healthy, gets me, in here exercising, and it's a great experience just to learn, something new every time.
And for someone who's watching this video, how old were you when you first started training?
40.
Okay, so what advice do you give to somebody who is, in their 40s looking to start training jiu-jitsu?
That you're never too old, for sure. Absolutely. And it was one of those things where you think about martial arts in general, at least, from as far as I was concerned, that was a concern of mine. It's like, am I too old to even do this? Should I have started this, 20 plus years ago? Of course, the two best times to start are, 20 years ago and then now, right? So at the age of 40, that's when I decided to finally go ahead and sign up and start training. Then I realized that, age really didn't matter. It's, for an example, right? Helio Gracie, like the grandfather of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, he trained all the way up into his 90s. Granted, he'd been doing it, for most of his life, but it's just a good example of how age didn't really matter. It doesn't really matter. It's something that anybody can do.
And how often are you training in a typical week?
Typical week, it does kind of depend on what my work schedule is, school schedule, but I really try to train, anywhere from 5 to 7 hours a week.
And the schedule and frequency, how does that help with your work schedule and your other obligations with your spouse?
Extremely flexible. Absolutely very flexible. It's one of the key things that's I think really sets this school apart from any of the other options. Because we all train Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, but it's what is our availability? What are our training options? And I really feel like this school helps facilitate that for everybody across, different lifestyles. So, it can be a law enforcement officer where you work third shift. You've got early morning options. You've got lunchtime options. You got evening options. It really fits anybody's schedule and just allows everybody to have a good opportunity to come in and get some good instruction and good, building with teammates as well.
And speaking of instruction, how long have you been teaching jiu-jitsu?
I never even thought about that. I think I've been teaching probably 5 years, somewhere around there.
And how has teaching helped improve your game?
I think the best way to learn is to teach. Is one of the reasons I was really excited about just teaching in general. I have my own long-term aspirations about, maybe one day opening up my own gym. But, even if that wasn't, ultimate goal of mine, the best way to learn something is to teach, even if I'm at home, learning whatever it is I'm studying. Oftentimes I'll act as if I'm teaching myself. And it's a great way to learn, great way to, in this case here with Jiu-Jitsu, walk through the steps of a technique. And it really helps drill down not only into the muscle memory, but your memory recall as well, as far as some, key steps to hit when you're running through the technique. So teaching absolutely is a phenomenal way to learn.
All right, you've got a few moments to talk to someone who's watching this video, who's on the fence about training jiu-jitsu. They may have zero experience with combat sports. What would you say to them about training at Frequency?
I'd say just come on and try it out. We've got trial options. We've got a great team here, very welcoming. The jiu-jitsu community as a whole is very welcoming. So, even if it were, for example, somebody who trains elsewhere that's traveling through, we welcome them in. They're part of that jiu-jitsu family. But if you're not already there and you're interested in checking it out, just come in, check it out. Feel the vibe, the energy. It's very positive. Everybody here just wants to train and get better and then help each other as well. And, there's a lot of success and just realizing that somebody else is succeeding too. So if you have, no experience, it doesn't matter. You're going to come in. Everybody's, the hardest step is always walk through the door, because we all started knowing absolutely nothing at some point. And then we did in here, and we just keep coming and training and building those, those teamwork bonds, team level bonds with everybody that has the same interest. And it's not only engaging, but it can be addictive too. So I think it's a great thing for anybody to try to do.